I'd like to welcome everybody to the official opening of the Nipissing Ojibwe Daycare Center, and our special guests, Mo Mantha, our federal member of parliament, Mr. Jim Pride, area manager for social services, and Mrs. Sharon Buchan, and Fred McLeod from district office in Sudbury. First of all, I'd like to more or less give a little historical background on how it came about for our daycare center. It was back in 1982 when we first came up with the idea of a daycare center. I guess Jasmine Goulet is here today. We started out made a proposal to Phil Goulet here. A committee was formed at that time, and a proposal was submitted back in '84. I guess one of the big holdups at that time was we were looking at a completely new building, but I guess at that time there was no funding for building. A new proposal was submitted a year ago. At that time, Chief and Council committed the use of the wing of the hall here for the daycare center. And we opened in the September of this fall. We had Francine as our daycare supervisor, and Lou being the assistant supervisor here as well, and Dwala, our cook. And with that, we're here today to open the official opening for the hall. And with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker today, Mo Mantha, our member of parliament.
Yeah, I just want to say on behalf of the federal government, we have a small contribution to this, and I just want to tell you that from all the years that you've worked hard at this, that you know that daycare is a must across the country, and you know that we federally have, we're coming up with something in April that's possibly going to maybe help you even further. Maybe Jim knows something about that. I don't know, but between the provinces, I guess that hasn't been worked out yet. But it's the people, the women that want to go out into the workforce to work and to be part of society and to help their income. And these daycares are for people that can't afford daycare and go to work. So and the fine work that you put together for all the years of working, that Phil will tell you that we try to work close with you people. We haven't paved your road coming in yet, and I know he's going to nail me for that today again. It's been a long battle, but as the old Reed next door, and as you remember living in this area, that I'm always open to work with you people, and I enjoy it just in our small way that I can be here today to assist in your opening. But what I'm going to tell you, next time I travel around, I'm going to bring my own blue ribbon about that long, just to tag it on that red one a little bit. I just want to congratulate you on your opening. You've been working, 6 years on this now, and we have a small contribution, and I'm only happy to be a little part of it on our government, and we will continue to work with you people. I want to thank you and congratulate you.
Okay, with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Jim Pride.
Thank you, Ralph. It certainly is great to be here and to see the realization of this project, which has had several years in the making. On behalf of our ministry and our ministry staff, Sharon Buchan and Joe Cherky, I want to congratulate you and to wish you the very best in this endeavor. I realize it has taken a lot of commitment as the project was developed several years ago, and then as we were able to work as a ministry with you with some startup funding to help get things going. And I know that Sharon and Joe Cherky have enjoyed very much working with you as a group. I would like to say thank you to Chief Goulet and his council, and to the staff who have been very active in bringing all of this together. Louise and Francine and the others who are directly involved. So we do wish you the very best. I know that your children are very important to you. And I'm sure that the citizens of this community must take a lot of pride in realizing that there is a daycare center here that is able to serve those children and their families. So we do wish you the very best, and we congratulate you for all the effort that has gone into this worthwhile project. The best to you.
Thank you, Jim. One of the things with the daycare center, we have approximately about 18 that's enrolled here right now, and it might be expanding pretty quickly. Maybe we'll be using the loss of the whole hall in the next little while. With that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. If you'd like to say a few words, the District Superintendent of Indian Affairs, Fred McLeod.
Thanks, Ralph. You know, I get a little embarrassed bragging about the reserve all the time, but I come from here, so I kind of I just came back from a senior management meeting in Aurelia the past 3-4 days, and again, the accomplishments of the band in that land management authority was highlighted as a major achievement on the part of the Ontario region. But I think that achievement is really at the credit of Phil and his council. I want to give thanks, of course, for the invitation for coming up here. I didn't have much time to prepare. There was a note sitting on my desk when I got to work yesterday. I just wanted to say, though, personally, I've always believed that the band had to take these kind of self-directed services directly, and I think that's the direction you guys are going is really what we had set a long time ago. Okay, and I'm glad to say. And you know, when I say I was embarrassed about bragging about the band in the areas of AFA, which Phil is working on, we're the first ones again in Ontario. And also in the maintenance management program, Phil took the lead role there and got that going for the district. I think this child care service here, I think the health service, there's a number of areas that Phil has really taken a leadership role in. Our role, of course, as a department is really to support the band. And as Mo says, our minor contribution is minor, but I think our support is probably the key. I guess there's a requirement now more and more for bands to move in the direction that Phil and his council are moving, because the department is not getting any bigger, it's getting smaller. And it's getting smaller only because the government really believes that Indian people can deliver the services themselves, and probably a heck of a lot better than the departments have ever done. And I think probably future challenges for the band too. I think in the Sudbury district there's a great move now by 2 or 3 tribal councils to get into child care or children's services. And I think that's the next major hurdle that challenge that poses for bands. Anyway, with that, I'd like to congratulate Phil and his staff and of course the little kiddies that are attending this daycare center, and hope them very best.
Thank you, Fred. And now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, and Fred certainly mentioned a few words on some of the accomplishments that Phil has had for Nipissing Reserve here in the last 10-12 years. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chief Phil Goulart.
Okay. Thanks, Ralph. Good afternoon, everyone. Mo, our member of parliament, Jim on behalf of social services, and Father Fisher, I saw you somewhere. Over there now. He was babysitting earlier. And people that like Sharon and Lou and all of you that have worked on the project in the past. Some of our band council members, Jerry, our deputy chief is here. And Isidore was a counselor for, I was going to say, since, if you'll forgive me, Father, since the Lord was an altar boy, who's back then, and Steve is here. Maybe I should name everybody, I guess. I'm glad that you were able to come out today and help us open the daycare center here in the old Garden Village Community Hall, which was built by mostly volunteers. And Father Hannon was our community parish priest. Goes back a long ways. In the 60s, I think it was. Well, I'm not old enough to remember that, but anyway, I was told about it. So, what I wanted to talk about was, I wrote a few things here down I was going to talk about, and then without having Glenna here to decipher my handwriting, I said, well, you know, she used to be our secretary. It looks like I'm going to swear at you here, so I think I'm going to forget about this piece of paper and just talk from experience that I've had working with you. Going back to what I want to say is my experience has been, and the foresight I think on behalf of the people from Nipissing was that there was a demonstrated need from the study that we participated in, showing that there was definitely a need for a daycare center before we even went for support of the project on an ongoing basis from the federal and provincial governments. And we realized at that time that it was going to create full and part-time employment long-term. That's the situation today. I have good feelings about the daycare. I've heard good reports about it, mostly because of the people that work in the daycare. I mean, it's like any other project. It's not the chief that's, whatever you want to call it, the flying chief, I guess I've been called the last few days, in the last little while, but it's the people that have to do the work. Same with any administration project. So you people that work on it, bring the problems to the office and have been very articulate, like Francine, I think you drive in from Verner every day, Francine, and you know, there's all these unforeseen things that you're going to have to deal with when you start up a new project. So they were handled very professionally. Daycare is in place. The staff is a good staff. It's going to expand. That complement of employees are going to expand. It's going to be around for a long time. And that's basically what I see from the daycare center. Certainly a need that helps women maintain their status in the workforce, and also helps women that want to get into the workforce that are going out for upgrading their education and that type of thing. So there's a lot of good things happening. There's a lot of spin-off effects, and we're proud of daycare center. While Mo is here, Mo's talked about the paving. I'm glad he beat me to that, but that's a good point. I noticed he caught the color of the ribbon. And, but the thing that's happening here in Garden Village is that when we permitted the daycare to have that wing of our hall, and we were already, you know, cramped for space, we knew at that time that we were going to get shoved a little closer to the door. And that's what's happening, which is a good way to be pushed out. We're being pushed out by a daycare center, you know, and I feel good about that. So that's going to have to, you know, accelerate those plans for a new community center. And that's why I say I'm glad to see people like Mo is here today, and Jim, and everybody else that we've been working with, Fred McLeod from the district. So we're on our way out as a community out of the old hall. It doesn't serve a need that we have, like because of the size of it, but it serves the daycare center fairly well at this time. So that's sort of looking ahead again. We're on our way, and when you hear about us talking about our new community center, you'll know why. It's for a good reason, because we have a daycare center now in Garden Village, but the chief and council are starting to look for a place to have their meetings and have their dances and the Knights of Columbus with the fundraisers and all this kind of stuff. So we're looking at new civic center. Basically, that's what I want to say. Congratulate the staff and all those that participated in the study, putting the project into place, those that put funding into it, and all of you for coming out this afternoon and taking time out of your busy schedule and have a glass of wine with us or whatever. I know I'm going to have some wine and chocolate brownies and everything else that you've taken the time to prepare. So all the best in the future, and you've got my support in any way, small way I can help, and I'm sure the council feel the same way. They've been behind the project 100%. You bet.
Thank you, Phil. And with that, you certainly mentioned a few things there where I certainly feel as well that the success of any program that's started is the people that's working in it. And with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Francine.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that took the time to come here today. And what I have to mention is it is really amazing to see the change in the children from when we started up to now. and it does increase more every day. We do have more children coming in, and the staff has been really good, great to work with. I'm sure if they wouldn't have been here, it wouldn't have been so good. And what I'd like to thank everybody that helped me through the past 7 months I've been here. As being a supervisor, I learned a lot because it was my first time being a supervisor. I learned a lot, and I keep on learning every day, and which I think that's good. And I'd like to say that those 7 months were great, and I'm sure the daycare will keep on improving for years to come. Thank you.
Well, with that, let's, I'd like to mention again, Phil mentioned that we do have some wine and some goodies here on the side so that we can, mingle and discuss anything we want to discuss about the Nipissing Reserve or about anything. Okay, and we do have a film here on the daycare center that's been taken in the last couple of weeks and the actual operations that were going on in the daycare center. Okay, with that, I'd like to thank you. Oh, it's the I forgot.
Looking for a blue.
The cutting of the ribbon here, maybe Phil, Mo, and Mr. Pride, and Fred, Francine. We have the others
Maybe on the other side.
I know you don't appreciate it. Okay,
That's it.
okay, although the daycare center has been in operation now for 7 months, I believe Francine identified something to that effect, but as chief of the Nipissing Indian Band, it's my pleasure to officially open the Ojibwe Daycare Center here in Garden Village. Thank you.
Steal some wine over there.
Phil, what did you have? You had the first section, is it 60 you had first and waiting on 53, or you have 53 waiting on 60?
60 first, and then 60 was the order. 53 was the next one.
We waited a couple of weeks, well, no, you're on the road. Trying to work
It was
out.
over in Silver. He phoned to let me know that you had called his office.
Next time around.